Hey guys, OG Albine here, bringing you guys my Week 3 APA Little Cup Showdown battle versus Beazle and his Indianapolis Cobalions, I believe it is. But yeah, if you guys do enjoy the video, be sure to drop a subscription just so you can catch our battles as they go up every week. And yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right in. I'm going to do a quick little team builder as always, just so you can see the team I'm building and my reasonings behind it. But there will be a timestamp in the description for the battle if you just want to jump ahead and see that one. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump right in. If you get to forget, our team consists of Torchic, Elekid, Drillbur, Frillish, Rowlet, Baneri, Jangmo-O, Smoochum, Beldum, and Rubbin, while his team consists of Abra, Alolan Grimer, Anorith, Machop, Shinx, Togepi, Turtwig, Fletchling, Weasel, and Seawaddle. So right off the bat, biggest threats to my team in particular is going to be that Abra. That Abra just kind of runs through me. I don't have a dark type to, potentially trap it or anything like that. So we have to think of other ways to potentially beat that thing, 1v1 or anything like that. So that thing is definitely very scary, especially in the late game if we do lose our checks and answers to it. Fletchling is very, very scary if we do let it keep that full health with its, Gale Wings and stuff like that. I think can be pretty scary if you let it get out of hand. Beyond that, Hazard Stack is very scary. He has lots of hazard options within, stuff like Anorith and Seawaddle and stuff like that. He can definitely stack us, which is definitely no bueno. Machop can be a bit scary, but I believe we have checks that. And then Alolan Grimer is very hard for my team to break down, so we do have to play around that thing correctly. But yeah, let's just jump right into the team builder. So first off, we have Beldum right here. Beldum is going to be our average check this week. We always live a Psychic into Shadow Ball. It's just a pretty decent Spadefmon this week, and its natural defenses kind of make up for it as well, to where we can kind of check a Machop. It's not, carrying knockoff, I guess. Knockoff is still doing a huge chunk. If we take any damage, we'll probably drop for that. But otherwise, we do hit, beat that Abra 1v1 usually, as long as, we don't necessarily beat it 1v1, actually. That's not the right terminology. But we do guarantee breaking the Sash on it, which I do expect to be Focus Sash. The Life Orb, while it hits incredibly hard versus me, I do have things to outspeed Abra and potentially knock it out, and things like Elekid and Torchic after a speed boost, something like that. But other than that, I don't really need much else other than to break the Sash and then knock that thing out with potential Scarf or Priority or something like that. So I definitely think Focus Sash will come just to always live one hit and basically guarantee a KO versus my team, which it kind of does, honestly. But yeah, that's going to be Beldum. Its job is literally just to sit here and potentially check that Abra, scout out moveset, stuff like that. So next up we have Elekid right here. Rocking out the Life Orb, Vital Spirit ability, just in case that Abra is running Hypnosis for some reason, or something like that. I think Abra gets Hypnosis, I could be wrong. But nonetheless, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Signal Beam, Hidden Power, Ground, 32 HP, 240 special attack, and 236 speed with a timid nature. This gives me something to outspeed Abra and the entirety of his team, and revenge it, assuming Sash is broken or he's not Sash. Signal Beam is for that Abra to hit it super effectively and always knock it out, as well as his Double Grass. I could run Fire Punch for those things and go mix, but I think the Signal Beam helped me cover more mons overall on the team, so I ended up going with that instead. And the HP Ground is for the most damage possible versus Grimer. It only does a tiny bit more than Thunderbolt, I believe, but it just makes it roll a little bit nicer. It makes that 2 KO roll a little bit nicer. If you use like a Spadef Eviolite, we can potentially, 2 KO with Hidden Power Ground a little bit easier than we could with Thunderbolt. So yeah, this Elekid is really, really nice because unless I'm blind, I don't think he has a ground type on his team, so I can freely Volt Switch on everything that isn't Scarf, because I will pretty much just outspeed everything on his team. So that is very, very nice, just to have that speed control and stuff like that. So yeah, that's going to be Elekid this week. Very, very good pivot, very good wall breaker as usual. And next up we have our Wincon and Torchic this week. Torchic is rocking out with the Focus Sash and Speed Boost ability, Protect, Fire Blast, Hidden Power Electric, and Workup. 36 defense, 200 special attack, 36 Spadef, and 236 speed with a timid nature. So this is an amazing Wincon this week. If he doesn't bring Weasel, or if Weasel's down and I don't have to worry about the Aqua Jet priority, and we break that sash on Abra potentially, this thing honestly can just win. We're at +1 with a little bit of chip. Fire Blast and HP Electric just absolutely run through the entirety of our opponent's team. He doesn't really have much for it answers-wise, and if we can, get that boost up, and then have our speed boost and potentially get to +2 on a protect just to outspeed any Scarfers or anything like that. As long as there is no sash intact on anything on his team, I honestly see this set just winning in the end. It's just we have to position ourselves in a way that we can. This does, requires to make sure that we keep rocks off the field. As you will see in a little bit, we do have forms of hazard control this week just to make sure that we don't take that chip if we don't need to, just so we can preserve that sash, so we can get a guaranteed workup off or something like that. So yeah, that's going to be Torchic. Definitely our win con who we want to, build around potentially getting the win with late game. So next up we have our Frillish right here. Only Eviolite with the Water Absorb ability. Will-O-Wisp, Recover, Shadow Ball, and Scald. 236 HP, 196 defense, and 76 Spadef with a Calm Nature. So this is going to be our Weasel check. Like I said, Weasel is the main thing standing in the way of our Torchic potentially winning. With that priority Aqua Jet, it can pretty much pick us off once our sash is broken. So I want to potentially have something that really does deal with that thing super well. The Spadef allows us to live, I believe it's 2 Life Orb Hidden Power Electrics from a Weasel. If he's mixed, we will live 2 of those, and then the defense, we take it on very well. It doesn't have physical coverage for us, and then Water Absorb, obviously, we are immune to stab and get recovery. So, that is very nice. We could potentially burn it with Will-O-Wisp, throw off a Shadow Ball, something like that. The Will-O-Wisp is also for the Grimer, so the Grimer can't just, destroy us 1v1, stuff like that. So yeah, that is going to be Frillish, very important this week, again, as a defensive pivot. And next up, we have our first form of hazard control in Drillbur. Rocking out with a Rocky MZ with the Mold Breaker ability, Rapid Spin, Earthquake, Substitute, Rock Slide, 60 HP, 236 attack, 212 speed with an Adamant Nature. So Drillbur forces a lot of switches in this game. He does have a decent amount of ground resist in Turtwig and his double bug. No, one of them doesn't resist bug, but one of them does. So I believe I can sub down on a good amount of things. If I can weaken the Turtwig, or I can take advantage of that, maybe pull a double into our Torchic or something like that, that can be very nice. But we can also sub down on a lot, like if we come in on a Grimer or something like that. Potentially sub down and get a big hit off on something on the team. Rocky MZ is very good against his double bugs, stuff like Sewaddle and Anorith. I believe we Oko a non-Eviolite Sewaddle, and we Oko Anorith, as long as he's not like super bulky Eviolite, which is very nice because those are the 2 things that on his team that will want to set up hazards to deter our end game with Torchic. So if I can get rid of those things, lure them in because of my ground typing, and potentially knock them out, that is very nice. So I definitely want to do so, and then Rapid Spin obviously to get those hazards away if I need to. So yeah, that's going to be Drillbur right there. And then last up, we have our Rowlet, another form of hazard control right here. Only Eviolite with the long reach ability, Sucker Punch, Brave Bird, Roost, and Defog. 132 HP, 156 attack, 36 Spadef, and 180 speed with a Jolly Nature. So this gives us more hazard control just against, especially against a Sewaddle. If he does bring, like webs or something like that, we always beat Sewaddle 1v1. Obviously, it doesn't really touch us, especially with our, good natural bulk, and Eviolite and Brave Bird demolishes that thing at 4 times super effective. Yeah, unless it's Sash, it's for sure dropping. So that is very nice. Sucker Punch is for the Abra. If we have Sash broken, we always knock that thing out, or if he's not super focus Sash, we knock it out a good majority of the time. I think it's like a 75% roll if he's not running any HP or anything like that. But yeah, this is just honestly another form of hazard control, because I really do think that our Torchic can put in a lot of work if we do position it correctly and keep those hazards off the field and weaken things sufficiently with Drillbur and Elekid. So yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right into the battle. Alright guys, here we are with the battle. So looking at the team our opponents had to bring, looks like they went with the Weasel, Anorith, Turtwig, Alolan Grimer, Abra, and Machop. Biggest threats right off the bat, definitely going to be the Abra for sure. When our best check is a Beldum, it's not looking too hot. And the Weasel can be very scary if we do let our Frillish go down, and the Weasel, as long as it is still around, we can't really do much with our Torchic as a win con, because it can always just Aqua Jet us and pick us off, provided our sash is broken. So that is something that we definitely do want to take down right off the bat for sure. Other than that, the Machop, I actually didn't, right when we got into the game, I realized how threatening Machop really was to my team. Like, when I was prepping, I knew it was going to be a problem, but the more I thought about it, the best thing I have to really check it is going to be Frillish, and I never want that thing knocked off so that I can still potentially deal with the Weasel if it's like a mixed set with, like, you know, hidden power coverage like Electric or Grass or something like that to, you know, potentially beat that thing. So Machop is going to be a very big problem. Right off the bat, I am going to lead off with my Drillbur, just because it beats his potential Hazard lead in Anorith, which I thought he would go for. You know, Hazard's being very good in this game for the Torchic and for the Elekid to chip it down as it pivots around, because he also doesn't have a ground type on his team, so Volt Switch is completely free. So yeah, let's just jump right in. So yeah, like I said, we are going to lead off with our Dribbler as he ends up leading up with the Machop. And looking at Calca stuff, I can't really knock this thing out in one hit. Maybe if I was ground, yeah, I could potentially. So I'm going to switch out as he goes for the Ice Punch. This is a very subpar play on my end. Not very smart to give up my Rowlet this early. He had no reason not to click Ice Punch. It was a super effective coverage for it. So losing our Rowlet that early definitely is very unfortunate. Right here, I'm going to go and do Elekid and throw off a Thunderbolt. Depending on his investment, we definitely could have knocked him out there, but he had a little bit of finesse, so he lives that, and then ends up knocking off our Life Orb, which is, again, unfortunate. But we do live and knock it out after Life Orb recoil. Then he goes into Abra, and he shows us, actually, that he is Scarf Abra, because we always outsped Abra. I thought, okay, cool, I can, you know, just Volt Switch out and break this thing's sash, potentially, but unfortunately not. Right here, I'm going to go into my Drillbur because it can live any one hit from this Abra. And, yeah, we're going to throw off an Earthquake, and this Turtwig comes in and absolutely eats it. I'm going to pivot out into Beldum, throw off a potential Iron Head, try to maybe, you know, get a flinch or something like that, wear this thing down over time as he gets up his Stealth Rock, which is very unfortunate, because now we do have to find a time in which we can, you know, rapid spin those away for our Torchic, or it is significantly less useful. We can't even really pick off the Weasel. If we have our sash broken, that thing can always come in and avenge us as long as it's around. So yeah, game's not looking too hot right here. He is just, you know, synthesizing up all over our Iron Heads. It is a speed tie too, so it's just a matter of me hoping I get, you know, get these kinds of rolls and stuff like that. Right here we do get a flinch, but he does great win the speed tie and get out the synthesis the next turn, as we're just basically going to throw off Iron Heads until our Beldum, you know, goes down here. So yeah, we do end up going down right here, so we are down 3 to 5. Things aren't looking too hot. Right here, I'm going to go into my Drillbur, as I can actually knock this thing out with potentially with the Roxy, but he makes a good play and does scout for that and switches out into his Anorith, which is definitely his least useful member. And we do end up knocking him out, so we do, you know, widen the gap, shorten the gap a little bit with our Drillbur right here, knocking that thing out. As now we can just go right out into his Weasel and pressure us that way. I'm going to pull the immediate switch out into Frillish as we eat up this Ice Beam, no problem. And we see that it is Life Orb like we expected. So right here, I'm going to throw off a Will-O-Wisp expecting the switch, or, you know, just potentially burning the Weasel, and we miss the Will-O-Wisp, which does make this really unfortunate. It makes this Grimer a lot harder to deal with. Would have loved that burn, because then switching into this knockoff with our Drillbur would have been, you know, a lot easier, and he does unfortunately get the poison as well, so I can't really sub down on this turn, potentially on the switch or anything like that. So right here I am going to go for the Rapid Spin just to get away those rocks for the Torchic in the back, and hopefully make it to where they don't go back up if we can pressure this Turtwig correctly. I'm going to go for the Rock Slide right here, hopefully getting the flinch. I'm not going to lie, that was the play I was going for at that time. Maybe should have doubled out into Torchic, expecting the synthesis or something like that. Gonna go for a Rock Slide again. We actually do get a crit, which is a little bit nice, crit and flinch, so that does help. And right here, we are gonna go down to the poison next turn. Just gonna hopefully try and go for another flinch, maybe another crit, something like that, as unfortunately we do not get it, and our opponent gets up there, Stealth Rocks, and makes the right play. So down goes Drillbur, and right here, game's looking a little bit rough for us at this point. And I go into Torchic right here. I'm going to throw out the Fire Blast and knock out the Turtwig right here. So we do, you know, widen the differential a little bit, but it is looking rough with the Weasel in the back. Not much we can do. in order to beat that thing, honestly, with that plus Grimer. If Grimer was burned, it would be a lot easier. Right here, I'm going to go out into the Frillish and take the Aqua Jet and get a little bit of healing back with the Water Absorb. Right here, we're going to throw off another Will-O-Wisp, which we do fortunately hit this time, and you know, that does make the Grimer a little bit easier to take on. Right here, we're going to just throw off a Scald, get a little chip damage off, about 24%. As he goes for the knockoff, there's about 40%, so we can potentially stall this thing out, provided we avoid poisons, and, you know, win some speed ties and stuff like that. As, unfortunately, they do get the poison the first turn, which is unfortunate. We're going to recover up right here, get it to about 48%, as the burn is slowly chipping away this Grimer. We win the speed tie this time, going to recover back up to full, as unfortunately they get a crit right here. And this crit pretty much seals the game, especially if they win the speed tie. Game's pretty much over, not much I can do, especially if I lose this thing, it is pretty much over. So I am going to recover up one more time, get up to about 64% right there. As they are slowly getting chipped down, we do, you know, get another recover up right here, win the speed tie again, and there's another crit. So unfortunately, it just, game's not helping us. We didn't play very good early game, so I can't complain too much, as they win the speed tie right here and take out our Frillish. So this game is all but sealed. The hacks is unfortunate, but I am really frustrated in how I played the early game. I think I could have played it much better. Losing Rowlet so early on was very unfortunate, leading bad. Right here, I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Electric. Honestly, just playing for the choke, hoping that they would potentially go Weasel, and I got, you know, like a crit or something like that. And, you know, at that point, we actually could have potentially won if we got a couple crits and stuff like that. But yeah, unfortunately, we are going to drop this one 3-0 to the Indianapolis Cobalions. Again, the hacks was a bit unfortunate, but I did play that early game very sloppy. Could have avoided these situations potentially altogether. So hopefully next week we can perform a bit better and, you know, bounce back and potentially pick up a win. We do drop to 1-2, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully, again, we can bounce back. Thank you guys so much for watching. You know, again, subscribe if you want to catch our battles as they go up. Cap goes up on Wednesday this week, as well as NCP on Friday. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Later.